I am a GI Bill. I'm a GI and my name is Bill, so I am the GI Bill. Which I thought was kind of cute. I enlisted when I was still 17 and just barely over 17. The war in Europe was over in May, and the war in Japan was over in August, and I'm still in training at B-29 school. And we finished at school, and then went to a replacement depot in Kearns, Utah, and stayed there for many months until the government decided what to do with all these people who had signed up for duration of the war plus 6 months. I graduated as a physicist, physics major, of course, applied and got a job in Washington, D.C. area. Actually, it was in the Naval Ordnance Laboratory in White Oak, Maryland, which is just north of D.C. They wanted to make me an ordnance engineer, and I said, what kind of a job can you get with an ordnance engineer title? so I opted to change jobs, and I got a job at the Naval Research Lab as a physicist, which suited the hell out of me because that's what I wanted to be. And there is where I learned my life's work, the effect of radiation on electronic materials. And I ended up with an invitation to take a job at Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland. And there, they didn't have any radiation testing facilities. They knew they wanted to do that kind of work, so they asked me to design a facility to do radiation testing. I spent 20 years at the Jet Propulsion Lab, and the first several years I was hired basically based on the fact I had designed that facility at Goddard Space Flight Center. And the people who hired me wanted me to develop such a lab at JPL. But the fact really was, at that time, the JPL did not have the need. They did not put things in Earth orbit, which is where the Van Allen belts are. The need didn't arise until the Voyager program was being developed. When I first got there, I used to sit in on some of the planning meetings for Voyager. It was called something different at that time. When they were about halfway through the design of Voyager, the Pioneer 10 passed Jupiter, and it measured the high amounts of radiation of protons and electrons. And so immediately they said, the head of the project sent out a memo, said, all instruments and spacecraft systems must undergo radiation testing to find out their sensitivity and if they need to be redesigned, which many of them did, incidentally. But they put me immediately in charge of that. And so I made sure all the systems were tested and all the parts, the semiconductor parts are the thing that's the most sensitive. When I helped the Voyager go out and safely get by, the radiations in space, I felt very proud about that. I think that my ability to do these things, carry out the radiation testing and all, was built upon the fact that I got my education from the GI Bill. But also, you could say that not only was I successful because of the GI Bill, but Voyager probably was successful because of the GI Bill.